Hello. As you may know, I started my GLP-1 medication about a month ago, and I've been filming that process since day one. Today, I'm taking my first GLP-1 shot, and honestly, I'm not really nervous. I'm just kind of curious and definitely not sure what to expect. I've seen other people's journeys on YouTube, and now I'm starting mine. So if you're wondering what it's really like from the jump, side effects, feelings, figuring it all out, all of it, let's get into it. I'm Maggie. Welcome to GLP-1 and Me. I'm 60 years old and I've been living with extra weight for more than half my life. But now I'm on a quest to change that, one habit at a time, with the help of my GLP-1 Wegovy. My channel is all about keeping it real. You're going to see the ups, the downs, everything in between as I try and figure out working towards a healthier, more balanced life. So if you're curious or on a similar path, or just want to follow along, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Okay, today is Saturday, the 12th of July, and this is going to start my Wegovy history. So this is how it comes from the pharmacist from CVS. Comes in a box, has all the directions for use. This is probably all the warnings. And it comes with 4 pens. This will be a month worth or 28 days worth. Of this. I'm going to read through this a little bit. I'm going to do this tonight after dinner. Okay, so this is the pen, the Wegovy pen. There's a cap here. You're supposed to leave that on until you're ready to inject it. You should look to see that this is clear fluid in here. And if there's air bubbles, that's all right. There's an expiration date over here. This one's good till November of 26. And then what they say to do is you either put it in your stomach about 2 inches away from your belly button, or under your arm, like under your bicep, I guess, or in your thigh. The one thing they did say is don't put it anywhere where there's scars or stretch marks, and I had 3 really large children, so I'm not going to be putting it in my stomach this time around. I'm going to put it in my thigh. I'm not really going to film that because I don't really have a good setup right now. But I just want to review with you guys. I'm 5'4". I'm 229 today, and this is my first shot of Wegovy, which is a GLP-1. It's known as semaglutide. I'm going to give you an idea of what I ate today, because this is actually, right now it's, I don't know, 7:30 maybe, 7:45 at night. As near as I can tell, I had almost 1,200 calories and about almost 90 protein. My foods were 3 coffees. 2 of them had cream, and my husband usually whizzes just a little bit of butter in them to froth it. 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt with berries, 2 scrambled eggs, 3 pieces of bacon. I had, for water, I had, I think, about 8 glasses of water, and one of them had a half a packet of electrolytes in it. One of my coffees had a 1/4 bottle of Fairlight. With that much, just from breakfast, stretch out in the morning, I had 50 protein and 519 calories. So it was like kind of like halfway to where I should be. And then tonight I had a loin of pork, which my husband does. He does like a pinwheel thing where he has cream cheese and usually spinach kind of rolled into it with some sausage. And in this instance, he did it with asparagus. So that kind of brought me to where I needed to be with protein and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and take this shot. It's about a half an hour after I ate. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm really, you ask questions online, and you get 40 different answers. So I'm just going to go with it. What you do, you take this and you pull it open. I'm going to put this into my thigh. One click starts it putting in, and the next click, one click is like it being applied, and the next click is you start putting it in. And then when this turns fully yellow, that's when you know you're done. It's supposed to be about 5 to 10 seconds. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what they call fully. Then you put the cap back on. So this is a single use, and I have a container that I'm going to put this in when I'm going to put all my sharps. And that's it. I will tune back in tomorrow and let you know how it went. This right here, disgusting. It's very sweet and sour, and I don't know. I didn't like it. And, you know, I really don't have a lot of things that taste like this in the first place. The reason I got it is I have a tendency, when I lose weight, I have a tendency to get leg cramps. I mean, like really bad leg cramps. So I'm not doing anything super strenuous or anything that I have to recover from. But I think the potassium's important, and the magnesium may also help with either sleep or constipation. And so what I'm doing now is I'm taking like the tiniest bit and putting it in my water each time I have water. Or if I end up with too much in my water, I just keep adding water to it as I drink it. I will probably, if I feel like I still need electrolytes, I'll probably go to the LMNT and just do the plain salty one, because for some reason I can handle that. Good morning. Welcome back. I started Wegovy yesterday, and so I wanted to just go over my overnight. And you know, on social media, and when you go in groups for help, whether it's Reddit, whether it's Facebook, and even on YouTube, you get a whole array of different experiences that people are relating. Some are really horrible, some are really great. It's my theory that the bad experiences are skewed. What I'll say is that if you're doing well, you might not ever go onto a Facebook page or a forum and seek anything because you're doing well. You might just go out and live your life and not really dwell on anything that's going on. And so that probably at least 2/3 of people who are experiencing things that way, you never hear from. So of course, when you go on social media, what happens is you get everybody saying like, I was nauseous, I threw up, I feel like a zombie, I'm in a comatose state. And you also don't know what that particular person's pain threshold or discomfort threshold is. It's like, you know, some people never want to go to the dentist and some people don't care. And that's not to say that those people aren't really feeling those feelings. I'm saying that it's not a balanced perspective. That's why I thought I would actually just do an update, even though it's only been overnight. I took my shot last night. I want to say it was 7:55 when I took my shot. It was after a full meal. Kind of got sleepy within the hour. My eyes were watering a little bit. I got sleepy. I forced myself to stay up because we were watching a series. But then I was like, I'm going to bed. Well, maybe it was like 10 when I went to bed. And typically what I do is I'll go to bed and I'll put on YouTube and I'll just kind of let it run until I feel like closing my eyes. I was pretty sleepy right away, so I set myself up with some water and I put some Tums by the bed, because people talk about they've been nauseous or nauseous to the point of vomiting. I have my own experience with gastritis and Barrett's syndrome, or Barrett's esophagus, so I'm very aware if like it's going to be a bad night. Like there are times when I can't, even if I ate dinner early, I cannot lie down, or bad things will start to happen and progress. So, I made sure I had the Tums by the bed and water. So I slept through. I got up, I peed probably 4 or 5 times, which is a lot. So I don't know to attribute that to the Wegovy or to the fact that I really hydrated yesterday. Like, I'm bad at hydrating, and I'm trying to really be aware of that so that I don't run into any issues. So I was fully hydrated right up till I went to bed. So it could be either or. Upon waking, I had a couple of burps, not those sulfur burps like people talk about. It wasn't anything like that. With the gastritis, there's a tendency that if I roll over, it might cause burping. I don't know why, but that's what happens. Just a couple burps. So really, for me, that was just a reminder, like, okay, now start hydrating again, and make sure that you're, maybe eating a little earlier in case it's an indication that I should have something in my stomach. Typically, we have 1 or 2 coffees hanging around. My coffee's always with heavy cream and just a little bit of butter to froth it up. And I only drank 2/3 of it, and then I didn't want it. I think a lot of people do no longer like their coffee because they're used to their coffee being sweet. I'm not used to my coffee being sweet, so, I didn't have an aversion to it. I just didn't finish it. When we had breakfast, I'll tell you what, I'll just read off what my breakfast was. I started with yogurt, a little ramekin of yogurt with blueberries. We have fresh blueberries growing, so now we're trying to incorporate that so we're not wasting a bunch or freezing a bunch. I had another coffee, and this one had cream and some protein drink. And then I had 2 hard-boiled eggs, and I had 3 bacon on my plate, but I only ate 2, and a dollop of mayo for the hard-boiled eggs. So basically I had 2 eggs and 2 slices of bacon, and the coffee with the cream and the protein shake. And that is about it. Now, while eating, I had to remind myself to keep eating. And I also reminded myself to chew thoroughly. I figure it this way: if your food is going to stay in your digestive tract twice as long as it usually does, you better make sure that it's not big chunks. I'm a gobbler. I eat fast. Sometimes I don't chew thoroughly. So somebody else had said, chew your food 30 times. Have you ever tried to chew your food 30 times? It is actually difficult to do, because if you're like me, where you're used to eating fast, the habit is it's already going down, and then you're like, oh wait, I gotta chew it. I might not have made 30 chews on each thing, but it did definitely make sure that I broke my food down a lot more than I usually do. And I think that's probably a good habit to have. My other thoughts is that my protein shake is gross, and it was the Fairlife. It's the Fairlife 40, and I like that because it's a lot more protein in the bottle. The bottle's larger, and bottle costs more, but I just like that if I look at that and I can divide it by 4 for my coffee, I know that I'm having 10 grams of protein. And that's my strategy right now, is to just keep adding protein with stuff throughout the day. So I haven't, all this time I haven't been having Greek yogurt and berries. I have it here and there. I have it if I want ice cream, but now I'm establishing that if I have that, that's giving me 10 extra grams of protein that I wouldn't usually have. And so if I'm usually having coffee and I add the protein drink,
that's another 10. So right there, that's a quarter of the minimum that I should be having, right? Figuring like the minimum you should have is 80. I'm shooting for 100 to 120. So this morning I'm at 49. Yesterday morning, even though I hadn't taken the shot yet, I was at 50. And I didn't do the calories today, but it seems like if you add a 0 to the end of my protein, the way I'm eating, that's pretty close to the number of calories. So if I'm at 49 protein, I'm at about 490 calories because I'm not having a lot of carbs to beef that number up. My thoughts is that the protein shake was gross. The electrolytes are gross. And I had picked up some of these little Weight Watcher kits for like with exercise bands, and I think one had weights, one had a yoga block. I don't know. But I have these kits, and I tried to sell them online and nobody bought them. So I still have them, and I'm going to break them open and see what I can do about starting to exercise. I'm probably not going to do that this week. I'm just, the way I process is you think about it a while and then you integrate it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to weigh at night because that's when I took my first shot. I don't think I'm going to weigh today. I think maybe I'll even wait until my next shot day to weigh. All right, if there's anything, I'm just going to cruise along like this, and if there's anything different, like if I go out to work today and I can't keep my head up, or, anything like that, I'll just report on it as it happens. And if I don't see you soon, I'll see you on Friday night. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, it's Sunday night, Sunday the 13th. So it's a little over 24 hours since I took my shot. I just wanted to, thinking of how my day went, and I wanted to give you guys an update. I'm thinking like, oh, wait till tomorrow, you'll remember this, you'll remember that. And so I just have a few thoughts about today. They're more like little curious things that happened. I went out to work. What I do for work right now is I work for Spark, which means I deliver food. So I pick up deliveries, or I shop at Walmart and then I deliver them. So that's a lot of in and out of the car. Sometimes, lifting, several bags. Some of them have gallons of milk or 12 packs, 6 packs, 24 packs. Getting them from my car to the person's front door. So I did all that, no problem. There was no exhaustion. There was no fatigue. I did have an odd thing where I sneezed a few times, and I also had a runny nose. And I don't sneeze very often, so that was a little bit strange. So I'll wait and see what happens next week after my shot. Could just be something in the air. About 9 o'clock tonight, I was just like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. And it's this thing that happens that by the time you realize that you're tired, you're ready, your eyes are ready to slam shut. So for me, I was very glad that it was almost bedtime anyway. I tend to come into bed early anyway. Not early, but I'm usually in bed by 9. I have a few burps tonight, taken a few Tums, and I more think that's because I had a coffee late, like probably around 6, maybe even 7. I'd like a coffee in the evening, and that doesn't always work for me. And then the other thing, I realized I was short on protein, so what I did was I took some Greek yogurt that I had already mixed strawberries in. So Greek yogurt is very twangy, and I took my Fairlife 40 grams of protein shake, which I said was gross and too sweet, and I took probably 20 grams of protein, poured that right into my yogurt and stirred it around, and it actually kind of tasted like cheesecake.
So I did that because I wanted to boost my protein up. I think my protein was 109 today. So sorry for the shaky filming. I'm just sitting here waiting to get sleepy again. I started to think about things and thought I'd just hop on here. So I'm thinking so right now I feel very full. And I think it's just because I did a couple things probably a little late in the day. But I don't think it's going to have like a bad effect or any nausea or any vomiting or even any heartburn. But I did end up taking 3 Tums. At one point, I was on the couch. We were watching TV. I had dinner already, and my hands and feet got cold. I wonder if that's something kind of like, you know how people say they get cold after they eat. Maybe it had something to do with that, like your body's concentrating on your digestive system and it takes the heat or changes the circulation in your body or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's something that happens again. And otherwise, overall, I think everything went pretty well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Now, some people are saying like day 3 is the day that like you get slammed with exhaustion. I don't think I'm working tomorrow. I think I'm gonna do chores and stuff at home. So I might not even notice if I am exhausted because I'm at home and I can just hang out and relax, on my own schedule. But we'll see. I might go to work. I wasn't extra hungry. I wasn't extra thinking about food. I don't know that I really go through and think about food all day long anyway. It's just like snacking at night and coming home and using food to kind of decompress and relax, and eating before dinner, eating after dinner, eating so much before dinner that you don't want to eat dinner, which is probably healthier. Those are all bad habits that I've gotten into. So, so we'll see. If there's anything to report tomorrow, you'll find out. Good morning and welcome back to my channel. So last time we spoke, it was Sunday night. I did a little update from bed because I didn't want to put it off and forget my observations. So now this is Wednesday morning, and I just wanted to update you on how it's going and stuff like that. A lot of the side effects that are reported are nausea, exhaustion, and vomiting and constipation. So I will be talking about poop and vomit in general on this video, and I'll be talking about food. So if any of those things are triggers, you might want to skip it, but I'm not getting into real detail on anything. I'm not going to be gross, and I'm not going to make you want to go out and shop for food. Okay, so as we spoke Sunday night, so Monday, my foods were coffee, yogurt with berries, a protein shake mixed in, hard-boiled eggs, Italian sausage, and mayo. That brought me to 52 protein. There's something that I did. My husband and I, we used to go to this one orchard up in New York, and they would make fresh sourdough. And whenever we would take a trip upstate New York or Pennsylvania, we would go to this orchard on the way home, and we would get apples, and we would get hot apple cider donuts, and we would get a loaf of sourdough bread and a pound of butter. So you kind of can figure out what happened on the way home with that sourdough. So I saw on Facebook there's this local woman who's making sourdough from a 150-year-old sourdough culture, or I don't know the phraseology. Well, first I saw this person had a flag on their front lawn and advertised her name and sourdough. And my husband and I were like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then she popped up on my Facebook, even though I didn't search for her. So not really sure. Maybe the algorithm saw I was on her street or something. In any case, I got a fresh sourdough, and we went and got Kerrygold, and we had a couple slices in the car outside the supermarket where we bought the butter, and it was everything we had hoped it would be. So we're celebrating our silver anniversary on Tuesday, and so to me that was kind of like, oh, well, here's like an anniversary of an experience that we had way back when. I think even, well, definitely even before we were married. So there was that. So a couple slices of sourdough, and then I did that pork wrap thing that he made, which is pork with sausage, asparagus, and cream cheese kind of rolled in and roasted. So on that I ended up, I don't even know, I'll just say like I ended up at 72 protein, which is a little low. This is how I'm treating my protein. I'll have high days and I'll have low days. I'm going to look at the totality of the week. And because, you know, life happens. You run out of food, you didn't pick up something, you don't have the right thing, you don't want to eat the wrong thing, so you don't eat it all. And so, you know, this is my human experience. I have a note here that I got my electrolytes in and I got my water in and I pooped. So as of the second day, I hadn't had any constipation. Okay, Tuesday, I was a little more fresh in my mind. So let's see. When I woke up, I peed very little. So I'm not sure. I didn't think I was dehydrated, but I might have been light on that. I keep ice water next to my bed, and every time I wake up, I take a sip. And I think there was not a lot. I probably didn't wake up a lot. Okay, so the food on Tuesday was eggs, sourdough, and butter, because, you know, we got to kill that sourdough loaf so it's not around. Ham slices from a roasted ham. And then last night, we ate leftover chicken thighs, which I didn't like because they were dry. So I had 2 on my plate, but maybe I ate the equivalent of 1. We had a gin and tonic. It was our anniversary, and that just felt like the right thing to do. I had a coffee, and then I ate 2 prunes later in the night because I felt like I needed the bathroom all day, and I'd stop in a store and run to the bathroom and nothing would happen. Experienced being slightly queasy in the morning when I woke up. Not nauseous, just like a you know, kind of feeling. So, and also I felt I was dehydrated, so I tried to up those things and just be I think the key is you can't necessarily just go about your life, and I think prior I would have a signal and I would just keep going. And I think now when I get a signal, I'm like, okay, this could lead to constipation or vomiting or, you know, I don't even know what. And I don't want to know what. So when I get like this tiny signal, I'm like, oh, that's something. And so that brings me to this morning. I had 2 hard-boiled egg salad with the last of the sourdough and sliced sausage on my plate. I did not eat the sausage. I ate the egg salad first on the sourdough, and I couldn't finish it all. And it was literally, I think I had like the heel end and a half a slice, and I had to stop. And my husband had given me his crust, and I looked at it and I'm like, I can't eat this. Now, back in the day, I'd be like, oh, I got to kill this. It tastes so good. And I would just basically complain about being stuffed, right? So I decided that probably wasn't a good thing to do. Let me see. I think overnight I drank some water and I had the hiccups. And they're not like regular hiccups. They're like when your stomach jumps. And that's something similar to what you can experience with gastritis or even just laying down after eating. But it was just with water. And my husband said, oh, you have the hiccups? And I'm like, yeah, it's from the water. And so I kind of propped myself up a little bit because I didn't want it to continue and for me to be lying prone and maybe having some nausea be put in action. So it's just real cautious. And then, so I had that egg salad, sourdough, sausage. Didn't eat the sausage. Didn't eat all of the sourdough. I had a coffee, and I had a coffee with some protein shake in it. I haven't tallied that up yet, but I'm going to say it's probably 26, so it's low. I'm out of yogurt. So that was kind of a way of boosting my protein, and so I have to go shopping today. So the prunes from last night did work. So fun fact, I was looking up prunes because I used to work in a senior center, and if there were stewed prunes on the menu, all the seniors were like, oh yeah, give me some of that with my meal. It was kind of like a side. And we knew why they were doing that. And that's probably why it was on the menu. But I had gotten a big container of prunes, which, if you don't know, they're like kind of dried plums. They're not dry, but they're plums that have shriveled, kind of like a raisin is a grape that's shriveled. And so I had taken 2 of them, but I was looking up online, and they actually have more fiber than like Miralax and a lot of other fiber supplements. So I would rather do that, and it's a little treat. They taste plummy, but they also taste raisiny in that way. They say that like if you take that, it could work within hours. So I took it at night, and I probably will always take it at night because I don't want to have anything happen out there in the world. So I think things are going pretty well. My stomach was jumping this morning after I ate. Like literally, if you have ever been pregnant, you know, when the baby kicks, like you could see it and I could feel it. And so it was, I wouldn't call it lurching because there was no nausea with it, but it was just doing these jumps. And I was like, you know, and my husband's like, aren't you going to finish breakfast? And I'm like, I won't do it. I can't do it, and I won't do it. So that's where I'm at right now. It's Wednesday, so I figure I'm halfway through the week. It's been going pretty well. I've just been really tuned into if there's anything that might be adverse. I don't want to forget myself, and I think that's part of this training. You know, a loaf of sourdough wouldn't have even made it 2 hours in my car. And here we made it like, 2.5 days, and, you know, my son was eating some, my husband was eating some. So, you know, I've really only had, I've had no more than 4 slices out of a whole loaf. Not a big loaf, it's a homemade loaf in a loaf pan, sliced. And it was pre-sliced. I could have just had it as a whole loaf, but she offered to pre-slice it. The slices were pretty thick. Yeah, so my goal today is to keep my water up. I'm going to have to force myself to do an electrolyte, I think. I have had some leg cramps. What happens to me is I get a cramp in my calf, and it's so bad that sometimes I can't step down on my foot. I mean, typically that's a bad cramp in my leg would be like that. I had one of those so far. So I know that kind of comes with my weight loss. So it's not alarming, but it's not something I'm going to up my electrolytes just because of that. That's it. I don't know what we're going to do for dinner. I'm going to pick up some yogurt. I'm going to pick up, I think, another one of those Fairlife protein shakes because they're pretty decent. And I found out if you take the twangy Greek yogurt, like the plain, I can't think of the brand I use, but it's Greek yogurt, the 5G. I do that with blueberries, and I put some of the Fairlife vanilla shake, and I swirl it around in there, and it tastes like cheesecake. So I think that's going to be a go-to thing, part of my morning, to get my protein up, but to have something also that I enjoy. Yeah, that's, little breakfast burp. That's where I'm at. I have peaked at my weight. I'm not going to get into that right now. But I also have this thing when I lose weight that my skin starts to feel different. So I can feel my belly skin is kind of, it just gets a different feeling when I'm losing weight there. So I'm hopeful for that. I kind of feel like it's been forever, and it's only been, 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. This is the 4th day after taking it. And it's the morning of the 4th. I think things are going to go well. I feel like if it goes along like this, that would be pretty decent as long as there's some loss of weight. I took a few pictures. I'm going to put them up here. And what they are is, I went shopping, and I don't try on things in the thrift store. I went shopping, and I'd gotten a couple things. This was like last week. And none of them fit. Not the shorts, not the And, you know, I was getting like 1X. I think a shirt fit. So I'm going to show you a picture I took of, this is going to be like, kind of like a gold dress. It's, you know, not a ultimate gold dress, but a first gold dress. This was something that I was like, oh, it's 1X. You'll fit in it. And I knew as soon as I was trying to get it like over my head and my arms through, I knew that it was going to be all tight. I don't think it's horrible, but you know, you get disappointed because you're like, oh, I'm going to get, you know, some clothes I can relax in for the meantime, and then they don't fit. So you did that little bit of shopping for nothing. I did get a skirt and 2 shirts, and they fit, and all of them were like stretchy and elastic and all of that. So I'm going to put those pictures up here. It's, I think it's 1 side view and 2 front views. And you'll see, likely it's, my boobs are way too big for it. And it's supposed to be more like an empire waist. And there is no empire waist. So I'm going to use that more than anything as a measure of my success. So maybe what I'll do is I'll try and take similar poses in that same dress as we go along, and then I can do like a side by side of progress. That might be fun for me. That's it for today, and maybe I won't report anything until this coming Saturday now, but just wanted to let you know how my week was going. Take care.